Do you know how many Starfield bad videos I currently have? No, seriously, make a guess. Go to the comment section right now and write it in there, okay? I have currently 196 Starfield bad videos. Yes, that's right. 196. And zero Starfield good videos. And you know what's the best part? We're pushing that up to 197, boys. Oh, yes.
Starfield's missing expansion and Bethesda's silence stirring unease. This is something we've touched on a number of times, actually, because after Summer Games Fest, specifically with the Xbox showcase, that happened at the same time, I was shocked they didn't have anything for Starfield, like at all. Like
I wasn't. But then on one hand, I'm not the idiot who said Assassin's Creed Shadows is a great financial and monetary success.
thought there might be an announcement for a PS5 port or something. I thought maybe there'd be an announcement for the new expansion, which allegedly is still coming, new DLC, new paid mods, because they love those. What they said earlier in March was this:
Can't wait for my $20 20 minutes of slop gameplay mod to drop, boys. It's truly a blessing, what can I say?
wrote this post on social media. We know you're eager for an update, and we truly appreciate your passion for Starfield. I am passionate about it, tell you what. And we truly appreciate your passion for
I'm 197 videos passionate about Starfield at this point.
Starfield. The team has been hard at work, and while we're not
Hey, you can say anything you want about me, but I am consistent at the bare minimum, okay? How many other peoples are this dedicated to Starfield?
not ready to share specific details just yet, we have a lot of exciting things planned for the game this year that we can't wait to talk about when the time is right. We're always listening and taking your feedback, except for Luke's. Thanks for being part of this journey with us. And this is like literally the last time they said anything about it.
Nice.
Like 4 months ago.
Good.
That's the last time they said anything. And bear in mind, they're supposed to be releasing a big expansion this year. Now, me and like 3 other people are still talking about it, to be fair. It's not really a hot topic of discussion anymore.
Luke knows about me because I say bad things about Lukey Poo a lot.
But it's still crazy that they have a decent, like, nothing to balk at. Any other studio I think would be pretty happy with the numbers they have.
Please tell me you're looking at Starfield Steam DB.
If we look up Starfield, even on Steam, it's popular on Game Pass as well. But even on Steam,
Bro, it's not popular on Game Pass. It's not popular on Steam. This shit is barely getting 4K average viewers. It's literally the worst performing Bethesda game. Starfield 76 is miles ahead of this garbage dumpster fire. Bro, can you put, by the way, I, by trade, have finished university, business, logistics, and I have work experience, extremely notable work experience in business finances. Look, this dude right here is the same. It's sad. It's really sad. Considering, again, this guy literally said Assassin's Creed Shadows is a hit.
okay, I take what I said back. They're at 4,000. Okay, they were peaking in like 5,000.
Okay, so does anyone know how much 4,000 of 330,000 is percent wise? Well, it's roughly 1.3%. The retention rate of a whopping 1.3%. And average, it can get lower than that. So there you go. Okay, and the claim that it's popular on Xbox is blatant lies. I don't know where on Xbox it currently is, but I doubt it's even in the top 50. I don't even think it's there. But even if it is, again, the 10th place on the Xbox Live Games list, the number 10 position on average, has best case scenario roughly 3 to 10k average players a day. That is not good. That is really, really bad.
5,800. I thought it was up towards like 12, 15,000. But I was wrong. Never mind. Okay, yeah, player counts aren't great. Shattered Space was a known thing long before.
How do you get that something like that so wrong? Because your taste is shit.
For the release of Starfield in September 2023. That's because it had a like trademark leak Todd Howard confirmed that a second expansion was in development in June of 2024.
Yes.
This is why when people say, no, they never said they're doing it. For one, they said expansions. They said we want to do annual expansions for Starfield. So that means more than one. At the very least, could mean 2, could mean 15, but it says at the very least more than one. And in June of 2024, he said that they are working on a second expansion. Since then, no meaningful message has been uttered by them despite opportunities having presented themselves. They did say this one that we mentioned earlier. That's the last time they said it. Xbox Game Pass or Xbox Game Showcase came and went. Nothing said. It all boils down to accountability. It was a clear promise that Starfield would have one major expansion a year. And in the 2 years that we've been sitting with Starfield, the only expansion we've even heard about was revealed long before the game came out. But that's this guarantee of long-term.
You know why there has to be, I think, a second expansion, because I don't remember that was a second expansion promised. Because if a second expansion was promised, they need to do it. Because Steam has a rule that you can get refunded if you don't promise the things on your roadmap when your game releases. Okay, so they have to do the expansion. The problem is there was only one smart idea for expansion, and that was House Varun, and literally no one gave a shit. Okay, from roughly 2K average players at that point, after the expansion, it went up to 6K players. Yes, a 200% player increase from a whopping 2% to 6%. That is crazy numbies right there, boys. I'm not gonna lie. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen in my life. It was a disaster. Bethesda has lost so much money on Starfield, it's crazy. So obviously, they are probably not thinking about making a second expansion, because that's stupid.
Support is feeling increasingly hollow, especially when you look at the post-launch efforts of an adjacent project like Fallout 76, the MMO that they've been chugging along with for 7 years. If Starborn...
Yeah, which is getting meaningful expansions like fishing. Fishing.
echoes the performance of Shattered Space and fails to deliver, or worse, never materializes, Starfield may be chalked up as a failure after more than a decade of development. Fans are now hoping for and fully expecting some kind of reveal or announcement at Gamescom, which kicks off in just a few weeks. We know that Bethesda will be in attendance, but nobody knows in what capacity. We also know that Fallout 76 has the biggest update ever planned, so it could be something related to that. I mean, here's the deal. Pointing to...
Man. The biggest Fallout 76 update ever planned is probably like on a 1 hour long quest, 3 new NPCs, and maybe 5 new atomic shop items. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about big things in Fallout 76.
Concurrent player counts typically, I don't think is fair for a single player game. It launched in 2023, 2 years ago.
Oh god damn it! Look, I feel so much. Listen. I don't have a conscience. I do not have a single shred of pride. I don't have a single shred of shame. Also, works wonders for your life, by the way. But I just feel bad when Luke Steffen says shit like this, and we're supposed to be equal in actual real life job experiences and credentials. Okay. I feel really bad about myself suddenly. There's not a lot of things that make me feel like this, but this guy just nails it, okay? When he constantly spews stuff like this, okay? Starfield is visibly the worst performing Bethesda game in history.
And like, shocker, yeah, the player counts are not going to be as high as they were back when it launched, of course. Of course. The more worrisome bump is over here, okay? When they released the expansion for the game that they want it to be like living and breathing and everything, you see a tiny little bump and then it goes back down. People played it because it was all of 5 hours long and then it disappeared.
200% increase.
Really low. But if we look at other Bethesda Game Studios titles, you can see that we have, of course, like Oblivion, well, even Fallout 4 is at 14,000 players right now. 14,000. Fallout 3 down at 400. Oblivion Remastered is at like 5,700, still outperforming Starfield. Special Edition Skyrim is at 21,000 players after all this, and that's a game released in 2016. it's like very, very normal, healthy pace of players. Like very, very anybody would kill for these player counts. It's absolutely wild. But Starfield has just not achieved that goal, which I think is why it's fair to bring it up and compare it and just be like, yeah, it still has people playing it. There's 4,000 people playing it right now, but I think for
What's the hidden there? What's the but?
them, they're in a tough spot because they can do the expansion. I think the expansion already has most of the work done on it, which is probably why they would put it out, because they're like, hey, we did all the heavy lifting. Let's just polish it up, finish it, put it out there, and we'll sunset Starfield. I think that's probably what's going to happen. I still think we see the second expansion. And at this point, I'd be shocked, like actually shocked, if it's not at Gamescom. Because what I think is going to happen, and this is what I mentioned, I think on the podcast, let me see, Gamescom 2024. So you remember this? As you can see, there was this one moment where like they do the trailer for Indiana Jones. It's received really well. Everybody's applauding. And then Jeff did this.
Indiana Jones is also, by the way... Well, actually, no. Starfield is not the first Bethesda title. It's Indiana Jones. What was the Indiana Jones numbers? Like 2K peak players? 13K? I don't remember. It was shit. Indiana Jones was dead on arrival, and they're making an expansion for it. Is a joke. Okay? And I don't want to hear any of those stupid, maldeformed opinions of, oh, but it's a Game Pass game. All the players are on Game Pass. There's literally billions of people on Game Pass. No, they're not. No, they're not. Shut up. You're lying. Everyone knows you're lying. Why do you need to fanboy this hard?
Awkward, like, and there's one more very exciting thing. Oh, but doesn't look that good. Probably wondering when the game is coming out, right? He turns around. They reveal the date. People applaud. Yay, it's coming out. Yay, it's happening. Okay. And then he turns around. There you have it. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is coming out this December for, Xbox Game Pass and PC. But there is one more thing that Machine Games and Bethesda wants you to know. And then they do this weird reveal. He turns around and then they go spring 2025 PS5 as like a separate announcement. It was really weird.
Didn't they officially like do an announcement? Because we were memeing like a year ago about Starfield being available on PlayStation. I don't remember what video, but there were a lot of comments where people were memeing, oh, look at that, the greatest Xbox games are coming to PlayStation. Starfield, oh boy. People were memeing very, very hard on that.
Weird. It was kind of awkward. But I think they probably do the same thing here, but for Starfield. I think Todd probably comes out, they do the trailer for Starfield's second expansion, and then Todd comes...
Dude, at this rate, Todd's gonna come out and he's gonna introduce his cranium with a force multiplier, okay? But with the rate that Bethesda is being humiliated at a constant level. I mean, we are openly currently having discussions with people, pretty constantly, by the way, about the fact that Elder Scrolls 6 should be cancelled, Fallout 5 should be cancelled, Starfield 2 should be cancelled, every game Bethesda is making should be cancelled, and it should be just given to a random crack addict on the street, because even they have better chances of making a proper game than Bethesda at this point. Like, people are wishing, hoping that Bethesda doesn't make a game. Like, that is bad. That is bad. People are openly mocking Bethesda. Starfield was supposed to be Todd Howard's grand magnus opus. And yes, it's the second grand magnum opus, which kind of makes it questionable, why the hell did you have a first grand magnus opus if you're going to have a second one? Those things are supposed to be unique. But his first one was Fallout 3. That was his little baby. He nurtured that thing. He did all the things. Okay? And then Obsidian just randomly makes New Vegas and completely blows the shit out of them out of the water. And from that moment, Todd Howard has absolutely hated Fallout New Vegas, and he has tried everything in his grubby little pathetic manlet powers to destroy it. Starfield now was supposed to be his next big ticket, his true grand magnum opus. And well, we know what's currently happening to it. Nothing. It's shit. Everyone hates it. No one wants it. No one plays it. Everyone hates it. And I mean, if you're Todd, you're probably pretty pissed. Especially on top of everything, you got bought for $8 million by Microsoft, and your bosses are currently, we hate you. Why did we even buy you? You're shit. And then, because again, the story of humiliation just doesn't stop with Bethesda, okay? Then, the Oblivion remaster drops. And people love it. People love it. People can't get enough of it. Everyone is happy. The performance, trash. Absolute trash. Some people are having 50 crashes per hour. And yet still, best game of the year, okay? Easy. And that instantaneously proved that we're not crazy. We were right. Modern Bethesda is shit. They can't do anything right, and old Bethesda is good, okay? And the only thing new Bethesda did with the Oblivion remaster was censor a bunch of things. Give women some ugly armor and some uglier face features and introduce body type A and B. And the players hated it. The players loved the old game and everything it did, but they absolutely hated and despised everything that Bethesda did with the Oblivion remaster. Like, Bethesda's a joke. If you're Todd Howard, you're probably drinking at least 15 different antidepressant pills. I'm not even joking. The guy's mental is probably he's probably dead inside.
He's out on the stage, maybe sitting on Jeff's shoulders like a toddler, and he's like, everybody, it's also coming to PlayStation 5, the complete edition of Starfield, PlayStation 5, $80, out now. Yeah, something like that. And I think that's how they do it. And then that's going to be the point where they sunset it. They're going to wipe their hands of it and move on, which I think is the best way to do it. We were also talking on the podcast the other day to Jor, and Jor was saying how he thinks there's no shot there's ever a sequel to Starfield. At this point, I think you have to
Technically, there's going to be a sequel, but when it happens, I have no idea. I'm giving it 10 years. I'm giving Starfield 2 a chance in roughly 10 years. Because then people will have forgotten about it. The awkward part is, it is officially announced. This was cemented. That Starfield is going to be the third massive IP of Bethesda. They have Fallout, they have Elder Scrolls, and then there's Starfield. Needless to say, one is not like the rest, though.
To break it down with Todd's career as you see it, because all accounts say that Starfield was Todd's baby. Like, that's the game he always wanted to make. Since he started making games, he always wanted to make a space game. In the Starfield big saga video I did that's like 8 hours long, I showed you forum posts that you can still find to this day. These forum posts show Todd back in like 1997 talking about the different space games he'd like to see and the games he was playing and stuff. Again, go check out the Starfield Saga video I did if you haven't already. But for Todd, like, where he's at is, you know, if this is the timeline of his career, you know, we're at a spot where like they did in 23, they did Starfield. They probably do.
Am I the only one who writes like retard in Paint? What is the deal here? Everyone writes so nicely. I write my actual handwriting is pretty nice, by the way.
Elder Scrolls 6 in, I'm guessing like 20. I still think like 28 personally, maybe 27, maybe 28. Who knows? But they probably do it somewhere around there, and then another 5 to 6 years for Fallout 5. And if that's in like, you know, 2030.
So the thing about these things is Microsoft bought Bethesda. Microsoft is gonna expedite the creation of these games. Currently, most people are thinking that first Bethesda is gonna make Elder Scrolls 6. Then they're gonna make Fallout 5 or whatever. But the reality is with Microsoft, there's a pretty huge chance that these games are somehow being made side by side, either through outsourcing or something like that. but they are probably being made a little bit side by side because they don't want to overlap the dates too much. But I mean, do you think Microsoft is not gonna release Fallout like fucking Call of Duty if they could? Of course they would.
4 for Fallout 5, which at this point is pretty clearly the order they're going. That would then present them the opportunity to do Starfield 2 in like 2040, which I am not joking. That's about the timelines we're talking about, okay? In 2040, just a little under 20 years after the first game. At this point, Todd is going to be like, whatever, 63 or 64 years old. I don't see him working until he's 70 years old on Starfield 2. Damn. I just can't see that happening. If you have made millions as he has.
Well, if Todd tries to end his career on a W, he's probably gonna be stuck forever in work.
If you're driving your little Tesla around Maryland, and you know, calling Elon Musk and hanging out, sending him Vault Boy statues, as we learned at the E3 Coliseum in 2019. If you're doing that, I don't know why you'd want to spend your Golden Girls years like getting beat up online and trying to make Starfield work. Still, no doubt, in the creation engine. Like, I think personally,
why? Because you're a fucking pussy if you say this. This is obvious. Real men... I mean, Todd Howard may be a manlet, but at least he has some fucking balls. I'm gonna give him that, okay? Real men don't want to go out with nothing. We want to achieve shit. My neighbor, from when I was a kid, is a multi-millionaire. And you know how he become a multi-millionaire? His friend got him to help him on the financial part, the business finance part of a company he decided to make. I'm not going to name the companies, otherwise you're going to figure it out. Pretty easy shit. And that company magically became worth literal hundreds of millions and shit. Well, not hundreds of millions, but it was really expensive. And my friend decided to leave, and he had a very high stake in the stocks of that company at that point. Well, not stock. Well, I'm going to call it stocks so you can't figure anything out. He had like a pretty high stake in the stock holding of the company. So when he left, he got paid for his share of the company effectively. And, well, he became a millionaire. And so much so a millionaire that, well, he did not have to worry about anything for the rest of his life. Money was set. He could live the high life. He could live in in Miami for the rest of his life if he wanted it. You know, having his sweet 19 every single day if he wanted to. But he didn't. You know what he did? He made a company. Then it failed, and he made another company. Then it failed, and now he's on... I think he's on his third company or something like that. And why? Do these companies make money? Is he like a super millionaire now? No. He has lost money in total. But why? Because the company that he was a part of that made him into a millionaire never was his. It truly never was his. It was his friend's creation. It was something his friend did, and he just was there for the ride. And men want to actually achieve shit. This is the thing. This is why Todd Howard will actually fucking sit there until he's goddamn 85, a paraplegic, because he wants to achieve something. He wants to achieve an actual good game. He wants to make something that people actually don't call shit. This is how we work. This is how actual real men work. And I understand, Luke, that you have absolutely no idea from this mindset. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is. You can be a millionaire, but you're still gonna work because you want to achieve that thing. You want to achieve that respect. You want to get there. And that's always gonna be how this works. And if that doesn't work for you, maybe you haven't achieved anything in your life yet. Maybe you're still working on it. But at some point, you're gonna get in your life where this is gonna be the only way you think about your achievements. Okay? You're not gonna want to just give up on something that you made. You're gonna want to fight for it. That's how it works. In any case, that was Luke. By the way, can anyone point in the comments, is Luke Steffens like a rich kid? Was his family wealthy? Because that would explain a lot, honestly. Anyway, that was our boy Lukey Poo, 10 out of 10. Bye!